The World Health Organization has called on member states across West and Central Africa to enhance domestic financing of the fight against malaria. Dr. Clement Lagula-Peter, officer in charge of WHO Nigeria, said this in Abuja at the Re-launch of Malaria Futures for Africa, organized by RMB Partnership to end malaria. Lagula-Peter said one way to advance the fight against malaria was to enhance domestic financing, where African countries source and have dedicated funds for fight against malaria.
A malaria-free Africa will not be achieved without a significant increase in malaria financing in Africa. Africa must source and have dedicated funds for the fight against malaria. We are indeed proud of examples in Zambia and Eswatini in mobilizing additional domestic resources to accelerate progress towards malaria elimination. A major focus of this meeting is experience sharing and mutual accountability. I hope you will find time to review and provide feedback to each country. The extent of deviation from the GTS 2020 targets, as well as the strategic actions required to get back on track.
Dr. Richard Kamwe from Namibia, a board member, Rollback Malaria Partnership and co-chair MalaFA study, said the team was passionate about elimination of malaria in the continent. According to him, the malaria study, which covers 19 Central and West African countries out of the 54 member states, varied from country to country.
The study is varied from one country to another. There are challenges related to funding, especially domestic funding. There is need, therefore, that Africans do the best that they can, that they intensify research in order to get some new tools. And it is not only for drugs, but also for vector control.
Parfait Toure, Head Access Programs West and Central Africa for Novartis Social Business, said the organization was committed to the fight against several diseases with high burden impact in Africa and Asian countries. According to Toure, the organization began its malaria program in 2001 and at present delivers about 900 million treatments of malaria for under 5 and other treatment for non-communicable diseases.
What we shared today was the words of people we interviewed. It's not what Novartis is saying or what the co-chairs are saying. It's what we ask to people who are, I would say, working on the ground every day to fight against that disease. And yes, some are pessimistic, some are optimistic, but we as Novartis, we are optimistic. We think that it depends on how we put together our effort if we want to end malaria in Africa. In countries like China, they are on the way to end malaria today. They have around 2 billion people. It's more than what we have in Africa. Why we cannot do it?
Honorable Abubakar Dahiru, member House of Representatives and Chairman Committee on HIV, Tuberculosis and Malaria Control, said the event was a strategic forum for member states to deliberate on ending malaria. He said with the cooperation of President Muhammadu Buhari and the Ministers of Health, Nigeria was poised to improve funding to manage malaria in the country.
Being a member of House of Representatives from in the National Assembly, we are doing our best in terms of financing. Today, HIV and AIDS, the drugs are free. Tuberculosis, the drugs are free. And therefore, we want the instance whereby, by the grace of God, issue of malaria drugs will be free in Nigeria, especially within the rural areas. Our mission vision is to reach the primary health care. That is from the grassroots. And also, we want to see how we could be able to involve pertaining the issue of the vaccine of malaria, of which is not on the ground now. But this program that we are seeing, this event, that is where Nigeria will come in. And by the grace of God, sooner or later, issue of malaria in Nigeria will be over. Thank you.